Ugh, New York City, November. That crisp autumn air. And you know what that means?
Of Grammy nominations.
They just dropped. It's like Christmas morning for music fans. You've probably already seen the big names
Oh, yeah.
all over the headlines, but we're going to dig a little deeper today.
That's right.
Uncover some hidden gems.
Exactly.
Maybe even stir up some friendly debate. You ready?
Always. So, got to start with Queen Bey, right?
11 nominations. Cowboy Carter. That's history in the making. She officially surpassed Jay-Z,
This is official.
most nominated artist ever.
And it's not just how many, it's which categories. I mean, she swept the country categories.
Which, of course, has everyone talking. Is Cowboy Carter really a country album?
Good question.
And it's got that southern twang, but maybe a little lemonade sprinkled in. What do you think?
Well, it's a fascinating conversation, isn't it? About genre. Like, where are the lines these days?
Right. Who gets to decide what counts as country? Speaking of pushing boundaries, let's talk Taylor Swift. The Tortured Poets Department, up for Album of the Year. That would be her 5th win.
A dynasty.
Talk about a dynasty. Remember, she announced this album during her acceptance speech last year
I know.
for Best Pop Vocal Album.
Unbelievable.
Clearly a woman with a plan.
Her ability to stay ahead of the curve is incredible, always evolving, but with that signature storytelling.
Totally. Invites us on her journey with each album. But, okay, before we stay too long in Popland,
Yeah.
let's talk about someone who's really shaking things up.
Yep.
Andre 3000.
Yes. Album of the Year nomination for New Blue Sun.
An instrumental jazz album.
I know. It's wild.
This is not the outcast Andre 3000.
Nope.
This is a whole new side.
Right. It's like, hey, remember me. I'm not just a rapper. I'm a musician. Period.
And critics are loving it.
Yeah.
Who knew he was such a talented flutist?
Speaks to his creative restlessness, always challenging himself,
Yeah.
exploring. And it's interesting, him embracing jazz now when it's having this resurgence, especially with younger audiences.
Totally. And speaking of fresh faces, the Best New Artist category. Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan. This is exciting.
Oh, Carpenter's coming in hot. Album of the Year, several pop categories. Short and Sweet is a certified hit.
Huge.
And she's already breaking records. You know, she's the first artist since the Beatles
No way.
to chart 3 top 5 U.S. hits in the same week.
Wow, that's some legendary company.
Yeah.
And then Chappell Roan's such a different vibe. The rise and fall of a Midwest princess, female empowerment, queer freedom,
Right.
wrapped up in this super campy aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
She's one to watch.
Definitely. It's a new wave of artists using their platform to speak out. And her music, it resonates. This generation, they want authenticity. They want change.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, we can't talk Grammys without mentioning a couple more giants. Billie Eilish back with 7 nominations.
Hit me hard and soft.
And she's going for her 3rd Album of the Year win.
It's crazy. She's the first artist ever to have her first 3 albums all nominated for Album of the Year. She's, what, 22?
Mind-blowing. And Kendrick Lamar, 7 nominations, some potential head-to-heads with Beyonce. This is going to be epic.
Kendrick's always been known for those lyrics. And he tackles complex issues. A true innovator, still challenging us, inspiring us.
Okay, you ready to venture off the beaten path a little?
Mm.
Because there's a whole world of music hiding in those lesser-known categories.
I am so ready.
I think you're going to be surprised by what we find.
Let's go on a musical adventure. I'm
Yeah.
all for it. All right. How about Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media? Might not be on everyone's radar, but it's essential to the movies.
Oh, I love this category. It's like the unsung heroes.
Absolutely.
The composers creating those emotional landscapes for film.
Yeah. Some incredible nominees this year. Laura Cartman, American Fiction. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, Challengers. Chris Bowers, The Color Purple. Could you imagine those films without those scores?
Impossible. And, of course, Hans Zimmer,
The legend.
Dune Part 2. A score that just transports you. And then Shogun, Nick Chuba, Atticus Ross, and Leopold Ross. Talk about a project that needs that epic sound.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, speaking of stories through music, best song written for visual media. This is where we get those movie moments.
I love this one.
The songs that stay with you.
Okay, some real bangers in here. Luke Combs, Ain't No Love in Oklahoma from Twisters, the album. Classic Combs, heartbreak anthem, perfect for that storm-chasing romance.
And get this, NSYNC and Justin Timberlake nominated for Better Place from Trolls Band Together.
Wow. Blast from the past.
Who doesn't love a little NSYNC?
Right?
Then we have Olivia Rodrigo, Can't Catch Me Now from The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That signature Rodrigo angst, but with a Hunger Games twist.
Oh, interesting.
Can't wait to hear how they use it in the
Me
film.
too.
Then a couple of powerful ballads. John Batiste, It Never Went Away from American Symphony. And Barbra Streisand, Love Will Survive from The Tattooist of Auschwitz.
Ooh, those are going to be tearjerkers. Okay, speaking of powerful vocals, let's take a detour. Best opera recording. I know, opera's not for everyone, but the talent, the sheer vocal talent, it's breathtaking.
I'm always in awe of opera singers. The power, the control. It's like they're channeling something beyond human.
Right. Okay, some masterpieces nominated this year. John Adams, Girls of the Golden West, conducted by Adams himself. Daniel Catan, Florencia en el Amazonas. Yannick Nezet-Segan conducting. Carol Husa, The Trojan Women. Joanne Falletta conducting.
Wow, some seriously heavy-hitting names.
Yeah.
Like the Oscars of opera.
And then Jake Heggie, Dead Man Walking, Patrick Summers conducting. And this one's particularly interesting. Terrence Blanchard, Champion. It tells the story of Emil Griffith, the first openly gay boxing champion.
Wow, that sounds incredibly moving and timely.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears. Best audiobook, narration, and storytelling recording.
Oh, I love a good audiobook. It's like having a personal storyteller right in your ear. Perfect for a commute or a cozy night in.
This year's nominees, it's a mix. We have the collaborative project, All You Need Is Love, the Beatles in their own words. A must-listen for any Beatles fan.
And imagine George Clinton's memoir, And Your Ass Will Follow, narrated by George Clinton himself.
Oh, that's got to be amazing.
A party for your ears.
Definitely.
Dolly Parton, Behind the Seams, My Life in Rhinestones. Full of that signature wit and charm, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And can you imagine Barbra Streisand reading her memoir, My Name is Barbara?
Wow.
I bet she can make the phone book sound captivating.
Probably. And then we have former President Jimmy Carter, Last Sundays in Plains, a centennial celebration. These audiobooks, it's such a unique way to experience these stories. Like, the authors are right there with you.
Okay, so we've wandered a bit off the main Grammy path.
We have.
But I think it's time to circle back. The biggest question of the night. Will this be the year Beyoncé finally wins Album of the Year?
The question on everyone's mind, Ari, she's already the most awarded artist in Grammy history, but Album of the Year, it's eluded her. Could Cowboy Carter be the one?
It's definitely strong. But the competition. Taylor Swift going for a record 5th win.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish aiming for her 3rd. And then Andre 3000 with that surprise jazz album.
Right. And don't count out those newcomers. Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Roan, they're making waves.
It's going to be an exciting race to the finish. Grammys are always full of surprises. I guess we'll have to wait till February to see how it unfolds. But for now, what stood out to you in these nominations? Any surprises? Snubs? Predictions you want to throw out there? Looking at this list, it really hits you. The sheer diversity of talent out there. It's like the Grammys are a snapshot of the whole musical landscape. All these genres, styles, stories.
Yeah, it's incredible, the power of music to just transcend boundaries, connect with people in so many different ways.
We've got those pop icons, Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, pushing the limits. Newcomers, Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Roan, bringing that fresh energy.
Totally.
And then veterans like Andre 3000, proving that artistic evolution, it never stops. And that's just the beginning.
It's fascinating to me how these nominations, they reflect bigger cultural trends too, like Beyoncé in the country categories. It sparks a conversation, doesn't it? About genre, about appropriation.
It really does. Makes us question those lines. Who gets to decide what's country these days?
Exactly. And Andre 3000 going into jazz, it's part of that bigger resurgence we're seeing, especially with younger people. Like, jazz is having this renaissance, blending with hip-hop, electronic music. It's fresh. It's exciting.
So cool to see how genres influence each other. Like a constant conversation, but through music.
And those under-the-radar categories, we can't forget them. Film scores, opera, audiobooks. They might not get the mainstream attention, but they're enriching the musical tapestry in a big way. Telling stories, evoking emotions, transporting us.
Each genre, it's like a different lens to experience the power of music. So as we wrap up our deep dive into these Grammy nominations, I gotta ask, what does this all mean for the future of music? What trends are we seeing? What stories are waiting to be told?
Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? We don't know all the answers. But these nominations, they give us a peek into what's possible, genre lines blurring, artists taking risks, new voices emerging, bold perspectives.
It's a reminder that music, it's alive, it's breathing, it's always changing, reflecting the world around us.
Absolutely. So I encourage you, dig deeper into these nominations. Listen to the music. Explore those genres you might not know as well. You might just find your next obsession.
Who knows? Maybe you'll uncover a hidden gem that deserves a Grammy of its own. Until next time, keep those ears open and those playlists updated.